Hey YouTube, it's your girl Jorré, aka the lovely Braid, here today to show you how I achieved this look. And by this look, I solely mean the accessories in the look because I did not do these twists by myself. I'm still trying to master that. But anywho, I'm going to show you how I achieved the accessorized version of this look. Here's the back. If you're interested in knowing how I did this, please stay tuned.
So everything you see in my head was made by yours truly. Yes, I am very proud of myself. For those colorful pieces, this is the thread I use. It's called embroidery thread. You can also call it embroidery floss. And for the spirals, I created those using two different types of wire. We have the 26 gauge, which is towards the top, and that larger one is the 16 gauge, up towards the bottom. Both of those I purchased at my local arts and crafts store. Finally, I use these Cowrie shells, which I got from my local beauty supply store, and these braiding clips to also embellish the look that you saw in the beginning of the vid. And there's my dog. Hello, Katara.
Okay, so for the colorful pieces, I really didn't have a color scheme I was going for. I just put in the colors where I felt like it, and I also just put in the colors that I felt like putting in. So here's a purple piece. Here's a green one. I really like this one. To offset the black, I have a red piece here, and I think I have a blue, yep, blue. And I have my red, black, green, gold, always repping.
So before I show you how I put this thread in, how about I show you how I created the strands you saw before you. So what I'm doing here, I'm taking two different shades of blue. I think that made it pop a little more on my hair. It's very dynamic. And I am linking them up with each other, making this a very long piece, stretching that out, and I'm going to cut when I have reached my desired length. This particular embroidery thread came with a multicolored pack, and it was only about $3. Any additional colors I've got only cost like 50 cents, so this was very cheap, which I like. So after I've met the ends of those pieces, I basically just tie a knot. Boom. Tie that knot in there so that they are stuck together forever. After you've successfully made the knot at the end, you're simply going to fold that piece on top of itself so it looks as if there are 4 strands in one. That's what's down there. I'm going to speed up this next part to show you what I did with the purple strands. So after I folded that thread back on itself, I then picked the twist that I want to attach that piece of thread to. And I've chosen the twist, and now I'm going to tie a knot at the start of where I want to start wrapping this. And I'm using the looped end of that thread, which I chewed from folding the thread back on itself, to make that knot. So that's where I will begin wrapping my hair. So I start wrapping the hair, or the thread around the hair, in the opposite direction of the twist, because I don't want the thread to disappear in the curvature of my twist, because I love me some curves, but I also want this thread to pop, this color to pop. So I have a little bit of space in between the thread loops in the beginning. So now that I'm more towards the end of my hair, I really wanted for this look to congest the thread at the end, because this is just the pattern I was going for at the time. Like I said, this was just a free-for-all. I really didn't have a set plan in putting this in my hair, but I did tend to like this congested look on the ends. So basically what I'm doing here, I'm wrapping the thread really close together, kind of on top of itself, just so there aren't any bald spots. And if there are some bald spots, that is fine. It does not have to look perfect because, as we know, perfection does not exist. Trust me, I would know. I am a perfectionist. I learned that the hard way. Anywho, I'm going to keep wrapping to the end or until I've reached that desired point where I want to stop and tie that thread up. So now that I've reached the desired point at which I want to end the wrapping of this thread, I'm going to tie a knot using those separate ends. So that knotted piece is at the bottom and so are these two other ends. So I'm really just going to tie those into a knot. I'm going to do multiple knots. There's one. And there is two. That was not a perfect knot, but like I said, it does not have to be perfect. So after that's all done, I'm going to cut that end off. So after that's all cut, I'm going to move on to the knot at the top of my head. There's still some pieces there. I really just rubbed them in between my fingers and moved up to the top. The bottom is secure. I'm going to move on to the top of this thread to where that loop is. I'm just going to cut the loop in half and proceed to tie those two strands together into a knot. The strands I just cut, I was struggling there. There's one. I'm going to go around the back of the twist and do another knot. I do not want this coming loose. And after that is done, I'm going to cut the ends off, being very careful not to cut my hair. And there you have it. And now the part you all have been waiting for, the wire pieces. So first I'm going to demonstrate how I wrapped the 16 gauge wire, the large one. I saved this one for my bigger pieces of hair because I didn't want it to weigh down the smaller twists. So I'm going to use this lighter, which works as you can see. Be careful when you're wrapping this. This lighter, the width and diameter of this lighter is going to mimic the size of the twist that I have in my head. So I'm simply just wrapping the wire around the lighter. This one's going to be a smaller one. And when I'm done, I scrunched it down so that I could have that tiny spiral that you see before you. Moving on to the 26 gauge wire. So basically the same process. You're going to pull out the desired amount of wire you want to use. Here I am struggling a little bit trying to pull that wire out. And once you've found that length, you're going to use your pliers and cut it like so. For this particular pattern, I wanted it to be like a crossback method of sorts. And in order to see that, I wanted to do that on a bigger twist. So I will be using the lighter for this one. Same method, wrap, wrap, wrap. You don't have to wrap this too tight. You don't want to break whatever apparatus you're using to wrap with or wrap on. And now to achieve the crossback, after I've reached the top, I'm going to go back over in the opposite direction of the loops I already made. And then with the rest of the wire, I'm just going to wrap that around the base where I started and slide that off. And there we have our intricate crossback larger twist wire using the 26 gauge. Moving on to the cowrie shells. Now I did initially try to put the cowrie shells directly onto the twist, but I was having an issue with fitting the straggly ends of my twist into that tiny little hole, so I decided to use this 26 gauge wire to my advantage. So what you see me doing here, I'm taking the wire and threading it through the back of the cowrie shell and making a loop and just tying it around until there's no wire left. So now you see that I've looped that cowrie shell onto the wire and it's not going anywhere because I did loop it twice. And now the process simply repeats itself. So in place of the lighter, I'm going to use this mechanical pencil to wrap the 26 gauge wire because this is going on a smaller twist. Same method, wrap, 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 and then slide off. I'm going to switch from this mechanical pencil to a smaller pencil to get that tapered look because all of my twists do taper the end, and because this cowrie shell is directly at the end of my hair, I need it to fit on the end of the twist. And after I've wrapped to the end, I have achieved the tapered look. Finally, I'm going to use that 16 gauge wire again just to show you how to do that crossback method with this wire. Pull out, cut, wrap. And like I said, for the bigger strands, I'm going to use, or bigger twists, I use this lighter as my degree of measurement. Simple. Wrap up, wrap down in the opposite direction to create those X's. And here's what it looks like on all sides. And simply just slide it off. There you have it. So for the installation of these wire pieces, simply find your desired twist and shove it through the wire spirals. I'm using that intricate crossback 26 gauge one I showed you I made, and I'm simply just shoving the end of that twist through the middle or through the loops of the wire. When gravity was no longer in my favor, I simply just inverted that spiral, threaded the twist through, and then pulled up on that wire. Okay, so I also want to demonstrate how I attached or put that larger wire onto my hair. This is just a demonstration. I did not leave it on this little twist. But it's basically the same method of pulling the twist through the loops and out the end. This one, I kind of just did this inverted wrapping method and then push the hair through the loop at the end. That was so much easier than having to succinctly slip that hair through the middle. I also make sure to secure the end of the wire if the twist is smaller than the loop. And to do this, I literally just squeeze the ends of the wire. Finally, I'm going to demonstrate how I put the cowrie shells onto my twist. So I'm using that spiral I showed you before. I'm going to find the end of a twist that is bare. I'm simply going to slide that end through these spirals. Now once you have that twist through the spiral, you're going to go ahead and secure the wire by squeezing down on the wire onto your twist so that shell does not go anywhere, and that is it. And now for the final step of our glamorization process, we are going to install these braiding clips. Now this is the most simple portion of the process. All you literally are going to do is open up the clip, but don't open it too much because it will break. These things are pretty cheap. So open it to the desired size for your twist. Find the twist you want to attach the clip to, place the twist inside of the clip, and simply push down to close it, and that is it. You're not going to want on your clips on the same level, so be sure to stagger them.
So this is what the hair looks like from afar. Yeah, you can see what I've been doing here. I might add like another little accessory when I'm done. I'm cutting myself off after that because I don't have too much. Hey ladies, gents, kids, cats, dogs, fish, whoever's watching this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw today, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up and the subscribe button while you're at it below. If you didn't like this video, dramatic pause, please go and hit the like button and subscribe below too. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next week with another video. If you have any requests, reactions, whatever, leave that in the comments for me, and I will see you soon.